For one, it's a great Sunday and honestly prosperous, rising, abundant afternoon, and expensive night to any mirage watching this mindful message. It's your divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another observation to understand if you choose. So when you enjoy these videos, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. And let's go and get into it. Shout out to you, K04473. So you basically wanted me to reiterate from the timestamp of my Mark 16 video when I was in my Bible study group. And you also asked, you said, I asked this because I realized the point you made, we had to keep going. But that point of that particular video ties into when you said keep going and the mission doesn't end here because of the symbolism and the question you asked. And that was when Kay asked, it's more about how do you get where you would like to be in the afterlife when you know what work you had to put in for your spirit far as transcending. My bad, my eyes bugging out right now. It's my contact too. Damn, this shit irritate me. But yeah, it's more about how do you get to where you are and where you like to go in the afterlife when you know what work you have to put in for your spirit as far as transcending. But let me take my contact out. My shit's bugging me. Alright, hold on. Alright, that should be better. I know it's a different look for a lot of you, but let's just get into it though. And now, let me get back and focus on what you were saying because that was bothering me. Now, you wanted to know where we go in the afterlife. You know, how do you get where you would like to be in the afterlife when you know what work you have to put in for your spirit as far as transcending? Now, the thing is, if you want to, before I even get to my 3 key points, if you want to know where you, I can't say you need to go. If you want to know where you are trying to go, and if you want to know where you already are, you had to vibrate there. You had to exist there. You had to basically already think in that realm. You had to put all your intentions, all your actions. You got to put your detachment as well. You have to put in whatever terminology you want to use that makes sense to reaching there. You had to already just exist with it once again, because your existence cannot be definitive. It can't even be defined by any intellectual in this dimension who wants to classify or categorize you in higher ascension, because in this ascension, there's nothing there. There's nothing that can be scientific. There is no hypothesis. There is no examination on what your figure looks like, because all there can be is just the chaos that you're already emitting within the physical, because the physical is just basically an instrument stringing itself along to what you vibrate as the entire time. Which is why if you know mentally right now, if you know where you exist, that's where your existence will be in the next life. That's why every day is a constant chore to be conscious, because the moment you let go of that and something happens, almighty forbid, but something happens, you may end up in that exact same realm, just because that's where you were already thinking that. Because the strongest weapon really is your thoughts. And if you can't even study what your thoughts are telling you, study what your thoughts are producing for themselves, you're not going to make it into a higher transcendence, because all you will do is stay stagnant. And stagnation comes also from not only just your thoughts, but what you love to think about. And if you love to think about stagnation, you're going to do examples, you're going to do many different practices that teach you this stagnation is okay, because nobody's going to tell you that your stagnation is wrong, because that would be wrong of them. And if that's wrong of them, what will you start doing? What's righteous to you? And if stagnation is righteous to you, then you'll end up in this dimension where many people think as if, oh, it's okay to be average, it's okay to be normal, it's okay to be at my faults, it's okay to be down in the dumps, it's okay for me to just work this 9-to-5 job and then that's just it for my life. It's okay for me to be in oppression. It's okay for me to allow the system to go against me and harm my family. Many people think like that, and that's why they will always be attached to the system. They can't escape from it because that's where they vibrate at. We're all vibrations playing human. And many people forgotten that mission. The mission was to never forget why you're playing a human being. That's the problem right there. People forget why they're playing human. So they believe that they're being human, but that's not the human experience. The human experience comes from observing what you're being as a human's perception. Because what we are perceiving bends to what reality wants us to believe in. That's why when you get rid of beliefs, you know that this life means nothing to your essence. Because your energy speaks for itself. It's so loud, it has no need to feel. It doesn't need to feel anything in this world because it knows that any emotion, any articulation, any thought, just whatever, it doesn't belong to that. It can't belong to this mirage. It can't belong to this mirroring because all you're doing is looking to a mirror that your frequency was already ascending in. The first part, the afterlife mirrors the frequency you already mastered in life. So after death, you can never go anywhere. All you can do is resonate with where I already basically told you to be at. And every thought, every emotion and choice will build our frequency signature. Because the emotions you have, the thoughts you have, and the choices you make are what you signed up for. Which is why many people, the things that they do, they signed up to doing that. That's why you really should never get in the way of somebody's karma. And their karma may look wicked, it's gonna look sick, it'll even look demented, it'll just look discombobulated. But that's not for you to sign up for. You don't need to help out anybody in their life if they don't even want your help in the first place. Do what you can do to help you, because if you can't even help you, then there's no way that you can help anybody else. The afterlife is simply a reflection that reflects and vibrates within you cosmically as your own mirroring. Because the work you've done by transcending your ego, attachment styles, or detaching from them and realizing the illusion will determine the dimension your consciousness aligns with. So you basically become with your own heaven and hell. And excuse me, the best way, because the one part that I enjoyed putting down was the attachment, the illusion, transcending the ego. If you can align and resonate and be compatible with that, then this higher dimension that you want to be with, once again, like I mentioned in the beginning, align that. And align that means to be compatible. Can you be intimate with that? Let's say, with that leveling plane, can you level yourself out? Can you balance yourself out every single day to where you can see yourself being in that compatibility? Because if so, you belong there. If you can love yourself, if you can let go of the ego and let people be who they are, let them enjoy their bliss, that's how you know you transcended your ego. That's how you know you don't need to confine to attachments, because nothing wrong with having them, but they don't belong with you. They don't belong with you in this moment. They don't belong with you in the afterlife, but they're belonging with you in a temporary period of time, because you have to learn about mastery through all walks of life. But that's called living your life. By having this experiential crisis to where you can exist by living in the experience that you can talk about whenever anybody else needs value from what you've already mastered. Because when you resonate in higher playing fields, this is when that energy that you're thinking constantly, all that can do is speak for itself out loud. But what would that sound like when it comes from you? Being in transcendence is basically freedom or integration. You don't need to escape by being in transcendence. If you're looking to transcend, to free yourself from something, you're not healing. That's why, speaking from experience, reaching a higher transcendence of consciousness, I still can't escape my thoughts. There's no point in me running into a dimension that can give me deeper knowledge, or it can help me find a better understanding of just about life and society in general. I can't be with myself if I'm looking for an escape route by getting high in my mind. No. Getting high means being still. If I can be still while working through stagnation, then my actions that had to be done with the thought in hand work hand in hand, because I'm looking for that freedom that I can just sit still with. I don't have to look for it anymore. So when I was looking for it, I wasn't free. Now that I found it, I'm still not free till I free myself from freedom. But even freedom has a hard time being free for itself. If that's the case, just exist and just be. Having spiritual progress is never about leaving the human experience, because you have to always master it. By mastering it, all the challenges that we overcome consciously is how we're able to save up and retain more energy or more currency for our spirit. Because the more we retain, the more we gain our shadow side instead of running from it, the lighter our observation becomes. Because if you work through your shadow side, if you make it an obligation to decipher what it is the other part of you is telling you, then you don't need to run from yourself anymore. What is fear at that point, right? Because if you work with fear and you face it, you confront it, even your demons as well, that's when many other people's demons will be attracted to your light. Because your shadows are literally just a mimicry of what other people are afraid to work on. They're afraid to heal that part of themselves. You already did that. So as you're walking in different spaces, why do you think they stare at you? Why do you think they want to talk to you? Why do you think they waste their time coming up with just pointless conversations just to get your attention? Many people are infatuated with the work in progress, because you're working in progress as you walk into these rooms, but yet you're not working for them. All you're doing is progressively getting better on what you work on behind closed doors, and they want to know how you do it. And all you're simply doing is just being still with yourself. And this is why in higher realms, the lighter you become is not how bright you are, because it's the weight of what you accepted and transmutated within yourself. So even in these higher realms, you're famous because it's not about how bright you really are. It's about how light you are, because you don't have anything weighing you down anymore. That's why fasting comes in handy. That's why exercise and taking care of you. As you can see, it's 9:45 a.m. Sun is out, but it's cloudy, obviously. And from Rayleigh scattering, the spectrums of nitrogen and oxygen, these beings, the Rayleigh scattering lowered itself. So that's why the so it's basically my-E scattering. The my-E scattering has this certain cloud over the area that I'm in right now. Many people want to be in, many people want to be cuddled up, they want to waste their energy and all that. Not saying that you can't do that, but many people want to do the mundane chill and get ready for a Monday lifestyle. No, our Monday is today. Our Friday is Thursday, our Monday is today. We have work to do. Yeah, we get some days off, we get to relax and all that, but you have to let that weight of the world go. You're going through things every single day for a reason. This is why to majority of people, they're not going to make it when it comes down to their future, because they make an excuse for how tired they are. When it comes to your future, it doesn't matter how tired you are. That weight that you want to become lighter in has to come down from you letting go of what you thought you were being in, what you experienced throughout last week. Last week's problems are not present today. The problems today are all that matters. So what you went through does not matter. That's why you need to be able to understand that accepting and integrating, learning about why this shadow side brought a part of you. Is the sun coming out pretty soon? For sure, probably. That's exactly why you can't run from you. Running from you shows that you don't even know who you are. And if you can't even accept what you are, then you can accept where you already are. If you can't accept where you are in this vibration, how can you vibrate with that experience if you don't even know what that experience looks like? Does it have a look, and what does it look like when it's just transparent? And lastly, the journey after death is directed by self-recognition. Do you realize yourself? Do you know what you are? Do you know what you enjoy? Do you know what you hate? Our observation never follows external judgment. It will always just follow its own awareness. That's why when we transcend, when we die, our consciousness will move toward a realm that feels familiar to our state of being. At this moment right now, nobody can tell me about heaven and hell, because I'm experiencing both right now. That's why all I can do is just sit still. By realizing that my state of being comes from me wanting to be in transcendence daily, because it feels good to be high. Even when you're sober, you're still high. There's no difference. So I can get that same feeling by even being sober minded. That's why being present, being appreciative, being grateful, all these things will help you get that dopamine effect that you are looking for. And then that's when all the all the energy that seeps in from the outside awareness, it'll help your ego understand what it wants, what it craves, and how you can work through that craving because it feels familiar to your state of being. That's why the things that you do and the vices that you have just indicate what place you're in is when it comes to your mind. That's why when you get rid of the vices, when you get rid of all the distractions that can never distinguish themselves from how they're affected by what you work on, you can progress early on in life by moving towards a realm that feels unfamiliar. That's why a higher state of being, they can become ascended masters because in that higher state of where the beings are, you're watching yourself along with other beings who are still with their ascension. And that's why when people practice neutrality, love, and being in awareness, you're naturally going to ascend to dimensions of peace. That's why every single day I just want peace. That's why, for example, if I was to tell a woman like, hey, I'm going to be busy today, I'm not going to be able to converse with you and all that, she'll have to be okay with that. And if that upsets her, that can't upset me because I'm going to still work on me. Purpose over the pleasure. And this is why many women, and I'm pretty sure you will experience this as well. When you, every day is a state of being for you of peace, women will treat you like a king because they know that you work hard constantly. They know that you're so busy you don't have time talking to them. They enjoy that because realistically they don't know what they want. They don't know they want you to talk to them all day, or they don't know if they don't want you to talk to them all day. But when you don't, hearing back from you just goes to show that you're safe. You know, you're working hard and you deserve food, you deserve a massage, you probably deserve great intercourse or alchemy, whatever you want to do with your girl, whatever, or you're a man, whatever. That's where you're existing at. And that dimension only can experience itself. It can experience itself by your projections. And this is why, too, if people are remaining in guilt or doubt or shame or illusions, so I'm trying to figure out what this word is. Okay, that's when you basically won't enter into an afterlife because you'll be so stuck. The beings who are stuck in guilt, shame, doubt, and the illusion, these beings aren't going to enter into that next level because their awareness, it dies down into the darkest part of the life that they are in right now, which is why after consciousness, you have to always make sure that you're practicing the form of love. And that doesn't come with just saying it. It doesn't come with just wanting to give it out because it's the right thing to do. No, you're just doing it because it feels right to do so. And life is a feeling that was already felt before. That's why the things that you do, if they feel authentic, that's you. If they feel inauthentic and you're still doing it, you don't know yourself. At least be true to your hatred. At least be true to what you know you can't even do. At least be true to what you know you never worked on. So you can't call yourself a great this or I'm the best at doing that. You don't even put in the work for real. So people who really do it can look at you and say you're bluffing because you don't even take yourself seriously. That's why no matter what you do, always become compatible with your mastery. You have to resonate with yourself every single day, sitting with you and being like, what do I want to do for today? What should I be doing? That's a great question. Get started with yourself. Be in mindfulness. Play some music. Go out in nature. Or have the blinds open. Sit with yourself in silence. Read a book for 30 minutes or an hour. Create something. Do your business. Just write, whatever. Do the things that can help you mirror your future for today. All you have is time. You don't have time. Not saying that you can't sit here and stream or play the game because who knows, later on I may fuck around and play the game or whatever, but we're just constantly working. We're just constantly creating because we have so much potential and we just waste it because of how tired we are. Do it when you're tired because that's when you become your best. And when you are at your best, think about how you're going to be feeling. And then the people that you love, think about how they feel when they watch you doing what you love. Now, because you're doing what you love, you're helping everybody else that cares about you see the best in themselves. That's why it starts with you. You are a light bearer, but I don't mean in that sense of negativity. Because you know they demonize what a light bearer is supposed to be. Light bearing meaning that no matter what you do, you're the brightest. You become the extent of the brightest moment that you share with yourself, no matter where you walk into, no matter who you introduce yourself to. You know that all that you can do is bring peace to this dimension, and you don't care for it. You don't care for peace. You don't even care to look for it. You don't even care to acknowledge it. You just resonate with that because energy doesn't have to talk in the first place. So today, tomorrow, if I tell myself I want peace, I'm going to magnetize anything that is peaceful in this realm. There is peace in this realm for sure, but how much chaos comes along with that? You can't sit here and complain about chaos stringing itself along when that's the point of life. How can you master the chaos that's attached to your peace? Hopefully this video makes sense to you, and I really appreciated making this video. I'm going to do a Patreon video about Jurassic Park, and we're going to watch the movie and just hit key points, honestly. And I'm excited for today. I enjoy making content. I love y'all so much. And if you enjoyed this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. And if you made it this far, just know I love you. And you're going to do great, wonderful things. And I'm proud of you. Keep on going. Keep doing you. And always remember, you are the one to make it out. And if it's not you, when will it start being you?